Now, from the Disney MGM studios in Orlando, Gene Siskel and Roger Ebert, If We Pick the Winners.
Thank you. Thank you. Good evening, everyone, and welcome to the Disney MGM studios on our 13th annual special, If We Pick the Winners, the program where Roger and I tell you who we would vote for if there were only 2 voters for the Academy Awards. And just like on our regular show, neither Roger nor I know how the other is going to vote. I'm Gene Siskel of the Chicago Tribune.
And I'm Roger Ebert of the Chicago Sun-Times. Gene and I do not have a vote in the annual Academy Awards, unfortunately, but we do know how we would vote if we could vote. And on this special program, we don't predict who's going to win. We say who we would vote for if we picked the Oscars. I may be right, or for that matter, Gene may be wrong, but at least we don't keep you waiting for the most important categories. Gene's going to start out right now with the nominees for Best Actor.
And no production numbers on our shows with those invisible dancing people, you know? Yeah. See, already we're ahead of Letterman. You know, right away we're ahead of him.
Unless we start dancing.
Okay. The nominees for Best Actor are Morgan Freeman, the veteran prison inmate in The Shawshank Redemption.
You mention my name, we'd never do business again.
Tom Hanks, the sweet, triumphant, innocent hero of Forrest Gump.
I want you to have this.
Forrest, I can't keep this.
I got it. Just by doing what you told me to do.
Nigel Hawthorne, the British monarch with a mysterious illness in The Madness of King George.
Deliver us from
Give us
evil.
this day our daily bread, and forgive us our trespasses, as
Thine
we forgive those who trespass against us.
The power and the glory.
Deliver us from evil.
Sir! No! Sir, we are in company.
Mind your own business.
Paul Newman as the irresponsible, immature old man who does grow up during Nobody's Fool.
Hey, I don't know the reason why I do half the things that I do, let alone your dimwit husband.
Well, did you ever get so mad that you wanted to shoot somebody?
That's why I don't carry a gun.
And John Travolta, the sweet, strangely likable hitman in Pulp Fiction.
What is a miracle, Vincent?
Act of God.
And what's an act of God?
When God makes the impossible possible.
This envelope contains Roger's pick for Best Actor. It's been hermetically sealed by hermetics in Europe. And the answer is he picks Morgan Freeman in The Shawshank Redemption.
That's right, Gene. Morgan Freeman. You know, back in 1987, Pauline Kael asked, is there a better actor in America right now than Morgan Freeman? And when you watch him at work in The Shawshank Redemption, you can see exactly what she meant. He and Tim Robbins are on stage together or separately most of the movie, and he narrates the entire story, which we see through his eyes. It's an interesting challenge for an actor because Freeman's real job in this movie is to make visible the changes in Tim Robbins' character. Changes that this character tries to hide, and then at the same time, at the end of the film, Freeman reveals that his character has been changing too. So
Yeah, I think he does a nice job, Roger.
Nice-
And I think they
nice
both did.
job.
I think they both did a real good job in the picture. And frankly, Tim Robbins probably deserved a nomination as well. I don't know that this is a great role. There is a lot of narration in it. I think he has a gorgeous voice. We just heard it, and it's an emotion-filled voice. I think that's where maybe my choice, I think, is a little better. Why don't you take a look, and we'll knock it around.
okay, let's see. And you choose the obvious choice, Tom Hanks in Forrest Gump.
And actually, Forrest Gump might say, obvious is often right. My choice is Tom Hanks, and what I tried to do was not penalize him for a film that came out 8 months ago, was a fabulous hit, and has been mimicked countless times in countless ways. I try to recall how he made a simpleton worth watching for 2 glorious hours.
His name's Forrest.
Like me.
I named him after his daddy.
He got a daddy named Forrest, too?
You're his daddy, Forrest.
Tom Hanks being instantly appealing and decent is an enormously valuable quality if you think about it. It's a big part of a certain style of movie acting. So in voting for Tom Hanks, I'm voting for simplicity in movie acting, a quality I think is often underestimated by those who think the best of movie acting is doing a lot of stuff on the screen.
Well, it's a good performance, and I wouldn't say anything against it, but you know, to a great degree, what he had to do in this film was find the right note and then stick with it. It's kind of like Dustin Hoffman in The Rain Man. What I like about Morgan Freeman's performance, as opposed to Tom Hanks, is that what Freeman is doing over an enormous range of 40 years, just like Tom Hanks, is showing a man who learns enough about himself that he's able to totally change the way he lives. I think that's a greater challenge, and the simplicity that you talk about is certainly there in everything that Morgan Freeman has ever done.
When I just showed a little scene where he discovers that he's a father, and I saw acting there. I saw a change in his face. It wasn't that he just had the right note and stayed static all the way through and stayed stupid all the way through. He is growing within that scene, and you can see it. There's acting going on there. Don't diminish a terrific performance.
I wouldn't want to do that. Okay, next category. The next category is Best Supporting Actress, and the nominees are Rosemary Harris as the mother of poet T.S. Eliot's deeply disturbed wife in Tom and Viv.
And, I might add, never before has one of us been carted off in disgrace to a lunatic's house.
Helen Mirren as the fond wife of a dotty old king in The Madness of King George.
The son in charge of the father? He will be put away. This is his death warrant.
Uma Thurman as a gangster's girlfriend who has a weird and almost fatal night on the town in Pulp Fiction.
Now I want to dance. I want to win. I want that trophy. So dance good.
Jennifer Tilly as a gangster's girlfriend who gets a weird and fatal dramatic role in Bullets Over Broadway.
I can do that. What do you know? You don't know nothing. Shut up and read.
I think the whole thing stinks,
I think
all right?
you're a degenerate zombie. Shut up and read.
Shut up.
You shut up and read.
And Diane Wiest as a temperamental stage legend also in Bullets Over Broadway.
I'm used to playing more overtly heroic women. Less tentative, more alluring, certainly not frigid. Straight from the Hermetic Factory, Gene's selection for Best Supporting Actress, and you vote for Helen Mirren in The Madness of King George.
Yeah. My choice is Helen Mirren in The Madness of King George. I know a lot of you and a lot of you haven't seen this picture, and I reached her name through a process of elimination. I didn't think three of the actresses in this category had all that much to do, so it was a choice for me between the comic romp of Diane Wiest in Bullets Over Broadway, marvelous work, or Mirren. And I guess what I liked about Mirren's work is that she was a lot more sober in the film than I think many other actresses would have been.
They may not permit me to see you again. A bill has been prepared to make the son regent.
Regent. Do you understand? He is to rule in your place.
It's his story. She's real good in it. I was surprised by this nomination. It's a solid piece of work. She creates a complete character in just a few scenes. It's a case, I think, of an actress filling in the blanks of a script. I vote for Helen Mirren as Best Supporting Actress.
And it is a good performance, and she is a very underrated actress who has been good in many movies over the years. In this case, though, it seems to me that what she does is well within her range. For a classically trained British actress, there's really nothing in this role that Helen Mirren couldn't almost phone in.
Well, the only thing that I'm saying is I'm watching the story of the king. It's The Madness of King George, and I am transfixed by her when I'm not just watching him all the time, and also I'm watching the love relationship, which I think changes. I don't think she loved him that much until he got sick. That's my suspicion.
Okay, well, why don't you have a look at my envelope?
I guess it isn't Helen Mirren. Uma Thurman, Pulp Fiction.
I picked Uma Thurman because she and John Travolta star in what probably is the single best scene in Pulp Fiction, the date that almost ends in her death, the date from hell. She's a gangster's wife and former actress, and she tries to make small talk here about a TV pilot she was in once.
That was my 15 minutes.
What was it?
It was a show about a team of female secret agents called Fox Force 5.
What?
Fox Force 5. Fox as in we're a bunch of foxy chicks. Force as in we're a force to be reckoned with. And 5 as in there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 of us.
Now, what would have been fatal in that scene is the slightest suggestion that either one of them thought they were going for any laughs at all. The humor depends precisely on the fact that they're both bored and distracted, and she wants a good time, and he has been ordered by his boss to supply one, and she doubts that he can. Actors often say comedy is harder to play than drama, but they aren't often rewarded for it because when it works, it looks easy. Here's Uma Thurman making it look real easy.
I'll tell you, this is the wildest date that I think has ever been filmed in movie history. I don't know anything to compare to it. At the same time, I really don't have anything bad to say about her. I just felt it was one shot, straight through, and that she benefits, as do all the actors in this film, Pulp Fiction, from fabulous dialogue. I mean, this is really...
You know, what you're doing is you're criticizing them for the good things in the movie. Helen Mirren benefits from good dialogue, too.
No, I think what I was trying to say is that Helen Mirren fills in scenes that aren't there. Uma Thurman delivers it right on target.
Can you imagine this scene with another actress? Can you see somebody not being able to fill it in the way it is here?
Yeah.
I think you easily can.
No, I think...
Yes, it took her to find the note here.
No. I think she's great in the picture. I think that there are a lot of actresses that could jump to it and do it.
Okay, when we come back, we'll look at the competition for Best Supporting Actor.
Lens crafters and the optometrists next door work very well together. I test for glaucoma and cataracts with every patient. And with Lens crafters' 1-hour service, we can almost immediately see the results of our work.
Lens crafters, helping people see better, 1 hour at a time.
Next. Now, why should we let you in?
Well, I spent my life avoiding sin.
Including gluttony. Roll the film game.
Here you are, consuming an entire bag of movie theater buttered popcorn.
No, wait. That's light popcorn.
New movie theater butter light from Orville Redenbacher. A big buttery taste.
And it has no more fat than other lights.
Our mistake. Proceed.
New Red and Butter's light. It only tastes sinful.
Nobody's perfect.
Wrong answer.
When the chance came to work at Saturn, part of a new crew, I hoped what I'd heard was true. For every step of the way, the people who build the cars are responsible, and they can make a judgment. Maybe that's why October 12th is a day I'll never forget. That's the day I pulled the rope and stopped the Saturn line. It was just a broken retainer clip. It just took a minute to fix. You know, given the chance, anyone prefers to make a perfect product. At Saturn, by giving us that rope, they've given us that chance.
It's time to get up.
It's Goofy! Come on, let's go! Jasmine, hi! I saw your movie 3 times!
Well, I guess you've seen just about everybody.
I've been waiting my whole life to meet you.
Call 1-407-W-Disney and make the dream come true.
Don't look. Hershey's Hugs are getting dressed for Easter. Hugs are mini Hershey's Kisses hugged by white chocolate. Some Hugs have almonds, but they take longer to dress. Hershey's Hugs.
From the Disney MGM Studios in Orlando, Gene Siskel and Roger Ebert.
Okay, continuing our special show, If We Pick the Winners, with Roger and me revealing whom we'd vote for if we had Oscar ballots. The next category is Best Supporting Actor, and the nominees are Samuel L. Jackson, the killer who ultimately becomes a peacemaker in Pulp Fiction.
Whether or not what we experienced was an according to Hoyle miracle is insignificant. But what is significant is I felt the touch of God.
Martin Landau, recreating horror actor Bela Lugosi in Ed Wood.
Take my word for it. If you want to make out with a young lady, you take her to see Dracula.
Chaz Palminteri, the mob thug who becomes a drama critic in Bullets Over Broadway.
First time was a punk in prison. He squealed on me and I stuck an ice pick in his back.
An ice pick?
An ice pick, yeah. I had to do it over and over. 40 times. It was a mess. Forget about it.
Paul Scofield, the educated father of an educated cheater in Quiz Show.
Charlie, from what I understand, it's just this bunch of frauds showing off an erudition they didn't really have. All you have to do...
The problem is, it seems I was one of those frauds.
And Gary Sinise, the legless Vietnam vet who becomes a loyal friend in Forrest Gump.
I told you if you were ever a shrimp boat captain, that I'd be your first mate. Well, here I am. I am a man of my word.
Martin Landau and Ed Wood.
That's right, and this is a movie that unfortunately a lot of people haven't seen. It wasn't big at the box office. I hope this nomination will encourage more people to see Ed Wood. I voted for Martin Landau because he took a role that is pretty much standard in the movies. He either played straight in horror films or played for laughs in movies like this, and he brought something brand new to it. In Ed Wood, he played the aging horror movie star Bela Lugosi, who was broke, down on his luck, addicted to drugs, and falling to pieces.
Ooh, those eyes. He gives me the willies.
Oh, I hate it when she interrupts the picture. She doesn't show him the proper respect.
Charlie.
I think she's a honey.
But he stood me up at the restaurant. I guess I shouldn't have picked a steakhouse.
The interesting thing is how his whole body is passive except for his hands. He is kind of slumped in his chair there, but yet his hands reach out almost as if from the grave. This is an interesting performance because it's bizarre, and yet at the same time there's a real cinder of humanity in it. This old guy who is, in a way, reaching out to his own past and to everything that he still wants and lusts for, but can't have anymore.
Look at me. Look into my eye.
You're watching our Halloween movie, White Zombie, starring Bela Lugosi.
What happens is that Landau allows the real old man to be seen beneath the Hollywood legend. A man afraid of poverty and death, a man who should almost be infinitely depraved. He's a drug addict, and yet he likes Ed Wood because of his innocent spirit. The movie is about a director, Ed Wood, who started with 2 dimensions and worked down from there. He got a reputation as the worst director of all time, but Martin Landau somehow gives us a Bela Lugosi who ends up with 3 dimensions, a character we feel very fond of.
Oh, well, why beat around the bush? Come on.
Okay. Martin Landau and Ed Wood.
Sure.
And there's not a single...
I'll tell you, there wasn't a moment's hesitation, and that's a great group. That's how good this is. My choice among the 5 really fine pieces of work is Martin Landau and Ed Wood. And in playing Bela Lugosi, Landau conquered, I think, the biggest challenge of any of these 5 actors. He had to play a real person.
Don't want the classic horror films anymore.
His Bela Lugosi is much more than a hammy Dracula impersonation. His Lugosi is an over-the-hill star, a heroin addict, a bitter man who can still be reached, however, by someone who respects him, like the mediocre director Ed Wood, played by Johnny Depp, who wants to put him in his next movie.
You know what else? The women prefer the traditional monsters.
The women?
Huh. The pure horror, it both repels and attracts them.
In another actor's hands, Bela Lugosi and Ed Wood could have been a cartoon. Instead, in Martin Landau's hands, I think he's a real person. Angry and talented, vulnerable and funny. This is not just Oscar material. I think it's the performance of a career by Martin Landau.
Well, he was also very good in Crimes and Misdemeanors, and you don't want to forget that. But, you know, as you mentioned that, I was thinking about Tim Burton, who directed this film. And when it was first announced that he was going to make a movie about Ed Wood, the man who made Plan 9 from Outer Space,
all these horrible
and all of those other
pictures.
I expected some kind of a smart-aleck Hollywood comedy. What I didn't expect is a movie that is really about love of the movies.
Absolutely.
And about people who, even though they're working at the very bottom of their profession, are doing something they love.
If you think about it, it would be easy to make a film about a great director.
Yes.
You show your love, it's so obvious. You show all the great work that he did. How much do you have to love movies to make a movie about a bad director? It's a great film. I hope people get to see it. That's the one function I think the Oscars really serve, is they give you a second chance to see a good movie. Coming up next, the 5 Oscar-nominated songs.
From the Disney MGM Studios, Siskel and Ebert, If We Pick the Winners.
Continuing our annual Oscar special, If We Pick the Winners, our next category is Best Song. And the nominees are Can You Feel the Love Tonight from The Lion King with music by Elton John and lyrics by Tim Rice. Circle of Life from The Lion King with music by Elton John and lyrics by Tim Rice. Hakuna Matata from The Lion King, also with music by Elton John and lyrics by Tim Rice. Look What Love Has Done from Junior with music and lyrics by Carol Bayer Sager, James Newton Howard, James Ingram, and Patti Smythe.
Look at what love has done to us. When will we ever learn to trust?
Make Up Your Mind from the paper with music and lyrics by Randy Newman. You would choose Hakuna Matata from The Lion King.
My choice is Hakuna Matata. I thought 3 of these songs actually were kind of bad. The only one I really liked, the other one was Circle of Life. But I picked Hakuna Matata because I thought it was an ingenious solution to a difficult problem. I'm sure the planning session went like this in The Lion King. Okay, now we didn't use a song for Timon and Pumbaa, the meerkat and the warthog, at which point I would have given up. But thankfully, Tim Rice and Elton John did not. And that phrase, Hakuna Matata, is now part of the language. It's a song that has a life, I think, apart from the movie in which it was introduced. In the music world, this is called a novelty song, which is often a put-down, but I think Hakuna Matata is worth an Oscar.
You know, Gene, I haven't heard a single person use Hakuna Matata in any context at all, except in discussing that song in that movie.
I hear it all the time.
You do?
Yeah, I hear it all the time. I happen to live in...
We hang out a lot together, but usually when we're together, people out of deference to me just don't say it, I suppose.
No, seriously. I live in an apartment building in Chicago.
I know you do, yes.
The doorman there always says to me when he sees me, Hakuna Matata, Mr. Siskel.
I'm sure that's what it sounds like to you.
That's exactly right.
Why don't you open mine?
Oh, now here is a real adventurous choice. Circle of Life from The Lion King.
Thank you, thank you. And you know, Gene, everywhere I go, people are talking about the Circle of Life. It's true. You know, I wasn't really crazy about any of the nominees this year, none of the 5. There aren't any songs here that are likely, I don't think, to become all-time classics like some of the great Oscar winners of the past. And so what I picked Circle of Life for was because I thought it did the best job of serving the film. So that sets it up, and there's another thing Circle of Life does that is part of the Broadway musical tradition that the whole movie comes out of. It imparts a certain importance to the theme. It suggests that even though this movie may have cute little lion cubs and meerkats and warthogs singing Hakuna Matata, it is also part of some larger statement, and that is kind of almost like official in material like this.
I think it's the other really good song.
Yes,
I think both of them are actually very good in the challenge that they have. Let's leave it at that. I just think, for the reasons I stated, the other one is better. When we come back, the nominees for Best Actress.
This is Jergens body shampoo, and this is the sponge.
Just a little squeeze, and you've got enough lather for the entire shower.
Just a little squeeze really cleans your body.
My skin feels so smooth. It feels great.
Just squeeze it, baby.
Jergens body shampoo. How much do you pay for a minute of long distance?
75 cents?
79 cents?
80 cents a minute.
I don't really know. Well, now Sprint introduces a whole new way to save on long distance. Every evening and all weekend long, a minute is just 10 cents. It's that simple.
For 10 cents, huh?
That's a piece of candy. It's cheaper than sending a postcard.
10 cents a minute. I wonder why no one ever thought of that before.
Call now for 10 cents a minute and get up to 100 minutes free.
Next. Now, why should we let you in?
Well, I spent my life avoiding sin.
Including gluttony. Roll the film, Gabe.
Here you are, consuming an entire bag of movie theater buttered popcorn.
No, wait. That's light popcorn.
New movie theater butter light from Orville Redenbacher. A big buttery taste.
And it has no more fat than other lights.
Our mistake. Proceed.
New Redenbutter's light. It only tastes sinful.
Nobody's perfect. Wrong answer.
Every year, one credit card gives you something other credit cards don't. Only the Discover card offers you Cashback Bonus Award. Cash. Over $500 million paid so far. And there's no annual fee. So carry the Discover card and improve your cash flow. It pays to Discover. Accepted wherever you see the Novus Network sign.
When I bite into a York peppermint patty, I get the sensation of itty-bitty snowmen running up and down my spine.
Ooh, I'll take one of those.
York peppermint patty. Get the sensation.
From the Disney MGM studios, once again, Gene Siskel and Roger Ebert.
Continuing our Oscar special, if we pick the winners, the nominees for Best Actress are Jodie Foster, the gentle wild child in Nell.
One.
What's it called?
Pop.
Pop what?
Pop. J. Pop.
Popcorn.
Pop.
Popcorn.
Pop one.
Jessica Lange, the alcoholic, depressed Army wife in Blue Sky.
Carly, cut it out. You're a big girl. This is not the end of the world.
No, it's just the same damn world that we had in Washington, only it's worse.
Miranda Richardson, the mentally abused wife of poet T.S. Eliot in Tom and Viv.
Oh, for God's sake! I am coming over this instant. I'm opposite to this building, and I am going to make the most awful stink you've ever heard.
Winona Ryder, feisty, artistic Joe March in Little Women.
I was publishing my book. It came with the letter. How did it arrive?
And Susan Sarandon, the embattled lawyer fighting the big boys in The Client.
I'd like to confer with my client and meet with you people in my office tomorrow around, say, 3 o'clock. And if I need anything from you boys, like the truth, well, I expect to get it.
Jessica Lange in Blue Sky.
That's right. And I think it's kind of a miracle she's even in this category, since Blue Sky, which was made 4 years ago, was almost lost in the shuffle after it went on the shelf when Orion Pictures got into financial difficulties. What she does in this movie is very good, and it's very complex. She plays an emotionally troubled Army wife who drinks too much and fools around, and yet still loves her husband and has his support. The husband is an Army major, wonderfully well played by Tommy Lee Jones, who understands his wife probably better than she understands herself. There are scenes like this one where she seems to be testing him, but he remains calm even though she's seductively dancing with his commanding officer, played by Powers Booth.
Uh-oh, here comes the stop sign. Time to go, Carly.
I want to stay.
This gal's a real dynamo, Major. If you harness her energy, we won't need reactors.
She seems on a collision course with madness, and we think we can more or less predict what's going to happen to her at the end of the film, but we're wrong. She undergoes a transformation in the closing scenes of the movie, and where before she was very confused, she is now very sure of what she must do. Lange is able to make that switch work where another actress might have made it seem like an arbitrary gimmick. And then, too, she gets all the little period details of the character just right. It's a great performance, and I just hope enough Academy voters get to see it.
I think I found a better performance. The problem I had with Jessica Lange in this is that I think she's required to be very similar until the switch you're talking about. And it's very cinematic behavior. It started to grate on me, and I frankly wish there had been more variation early in the first two-thirds of the picture. She is seductive, and then she's angry. She's seductive, then she's angry.
No, it's much more than that. She's also manipulative, and she's also sometimes very nice, and she's sweet, and she wants to be Marilyn Monroe, and then she wants to be a little housewife and so forth. There's a lot in there, Gene. I don't think you're being fair to her.
Well, let's see what I picked here.
Well, let's see. Okay.
I think you like this performance, too.
Yes, as a matter of fact, I did. I approve of your choice. It would have been my second choice, Winona Ryder in Little Women.
Okay. My choice is Winona Ryder, in a close pick for me over Miranda Richardson in Tom and Viv. Two very different performances, both terrific. One sad character, one very much alive. I'm picking Ryder, however, because as much as Gillian Armstrong's fine direction of Little Women, I think Winona Ryder really energized this latest version of an American classic, making us care about a character who might seem to be passé in the 1990s, but couldn't be more relevant.
There's just something really wrong with me. I want to change, but I can't. And I just know I'll never fit in anywhere.
Jo March of Concord, Massachusetts, lives in a century past, but she wants to be more than just a good daughter. She feels she has a light burning inside of her. She wants to become a professional writer, and Winona Ryder makes that light shine very brightly just in the way she talks. Take a look at this scene, at the unpredictable joy in her voice. She's practically vibrating here as she tells a boy who likes her about her plans for what she knows is going to be her exciting future.
If I were going to be a writer, I'd go to New York and pursue the stage. Are you shocked?
Very.
Boy, there's a nice piece of work where she says, would you be shocked? The way she says it, that's a great acting choice she made there. In fact, you know, as I was listening to my narration, I said, gee, I wish I would have shut up, because in a way, I think if you shut the sound off in this picture, that Winona Ryder would have made a great silent movie actress. Her body, her face, she's all alive. She doesn't need dialogue. She won me over there. I rooted for her character constantly in this picture throughout the whole film. Winona Ryder can play contemporary as well as any young actress today. She's cutting-edge modern in reality bites, and she's equally alive in crinolines in a period piece like Little Women or last year's Age of Innocence, which we both thought she should have gotten the supporting actress Oscar for. So I say give Winona Ryder the Oscar as Best Actress this year.
You know, it's strange, Gene, because as I was watching that scene, I was also hoping that you would be quiet, but I wasn't hoping that Winona Ryder would be quiet. Right. I enjoyed listening to her talk very much, especially when she turns to her mother and says, Hakuna Matata. But it's a very good performance. I just think that Jessica Lange not only gave a better performance, but also gave a performance which, in a way, because it's 4 years old and almost didn't get released, it almost sends a message saying these offbeat, experimental, unusual, more independent pictures deserve to be heard.
In other words, if Winona Ryder's work had been held back 5 years, you might have voted for that.
Well, you might interpret it that way if you hadn't been listening to what I said. Coming up, a new category on our special. We look at Best Visual Effects when we return.
And now, back to the Disney MGM studios, Gene Siskel and Roger Ebert.
They've been playing an increasingly important role in the movies for almost 20 years, ever since Star Wars ushered in the modern era of special effects in 1977. But 1994 could almost be called the year of special effects, since advances in computer imaging made it possible for the effects experts to apparently do almost anything on the movie screen. So this year, Gene and I thought we'd have a look at the Best Visual Effects category, where the nominees are Forrest Gump, where the hero was placed in the same shots with American presidents and his friend was turned into an amputee. The Mask, where special effects were used to turn Jim Carrey's already plastic face and body into a grotesque parody of itself.
I think he wants to communicate.
And True Lies, where a final showdown with terrorists juggled jet airplanes with skyscrapers. Okay. And in the special effects category, Gene, you choose Forrest Gump.
Yeah. My choice is Forrest Gump and A Pick Over the Mask. Both films are hard to imagine without their visual effects. I just think that Gump did more, pushed the envelope more, and allowed the simple soul to be everywhere in 3 crucial decades of American life. Here's an example. Tom Hanks becoming part of America's ping-pong diplomacy with China in the early 70s. I know you like this scene. The scene brought a laugh, and how did they do it?
We were the first Americans to visit the land of China in like a million years or something like that. Somebody said world peace was in our hands.
Here's how, pitting Tom Hanks against a Chinese world champion and adding a computer-generated ball. There was genuine joy in the effects by Ken Ralston, George Murphy, Stephen Rosenbaum, and Alan Hall. And I say give them, by a far margin, the Oscar.
Okay, Gene. Well, I can't say anything against the special effects in Forrest Gump because it was a wonderful film and they created some amazing things. But if you look in my envelope, you'll find that I picked somebody else. Yes, I actually did.
I hope it's The Mask.
It's always shocking to you. Yes.
True Lies?
True Lies, yes. You didn't like True Lies very much anyway, did you?
I didn't like the special effects, which we were reviewing here, anywhere near the special effects in Forrest Gump.
Well, I picked True Lies because it is in the great tradition of Hollywood special effects. It shows you vast, amazing, and magical things on a tremendous scale and makes you think, just for a second anyway, that they're really happening. For example, this scene with Arnold seemingly piloting a real Harrier jet when in fact he never even left the studio because the insurance company wouldn't let him get anywhere near flying around in a real plane. And looking at this, I can see why. It's one thing to write a scene like that. It's another thing to incredibly make it look real on the screen. And I think it was the best special effects sequence that I saw in the movies this year. And I don't want you to make the mistake of choosing Forrest Gump because the movie was better. Because you know what? The movie was a lot better than True Lies.
No, that isn't why I chose it.
The same stuff that they're doing in Forrest Gump in terms of putting people into scenes where they're not really there, you just saw in that scene too.
The stuff that I liked had to do with, as I mentioned, the feather, the whole scene by the mall, which is a fabulous scene.
But those are great scenes.
Yeah,
those are better
special
scenes.
effects.
Those are better scenes than any scene that you're going to find in True Lies.
Done
but
by
not
special effects. Oh, I think they're more amazing special effects. You call this picture in the tradition of Hollywood special effects. It is. It's a very traditional kind of thing. And actually, when he breaks the glass a couple of times, I thought, that looks kind of fakey. There isn't anything that's fakey. There isn't anything that isn't wondrous in Forrest Gump.
There are moments in Forrest Gump where you can see that something is going on.
You know something's going on. I couldn't tell what was going on. I had no idea.
I'd be happy to go through it with you and point them out.
Yeah, you don't know. You don't have no idea.
The biggest category of all, Best Picture.
This is Jergens body shampoo, and this is the sponge.
Just a little squeeze, and you've got enough lather for the entire shower.
Just a little squeeze really cleans your body.
My skin feels so smooth.
It feels great.
Just squeeze it, baby.
Jergens body shampoo.
Don't look. Hershey's Hugs are getting dressed for Easter. Hugs are mini Hershey's Kisses hugged by white chocolate. Some Hugs have almonds, but they take longer to dress. Hershey's Hugs.
Every year, one credit card gives you something other credit cards don't. Only the Discover card offers you Cashback Bonus Award. Cash. Over $500 million paid so far. And there's no annual fee. So carry the Discover card and improve your cash flow. It pays to Discover. Accepted wherever you see the Novus Network sign.
LensCrafters and the optometrists next door work very well together. I test for glaucoma and cataracts with every patient. And with LensCrafters' 1-hour service, we can almost immediately see the results of our work.
LensCrafters, helping people see better, 1 hour at a time. When we developed our new advanced handling and driver control system, we looked to Lexus and BMW. But we didn't stop there. Introducing the all-new Chevy Blazer. Exclusive driver control system. Even if you never take it this far, it's nice to know it's there.
When I bite into a York peppermint patty, I get the sensation of catching an icy cold wave. Woo! It's a big one. I'm hanging ten. I'm shooting the curl. Woo!
York peppermint patty. Get the sensation.
And now back to the Disney MGM studios, Siskel and Ebert, If We Pick the Winners.
Continuing our Oscars special, we now come to the big one, Best Picture of the Year. And the nominees are Forrest Gump, directed by Robert Zemeckis. Four Weddings and a Funeral, directed by Mike Newell.
You look perfect. In fact, you probably are perfect. How are you?
I'm really well. Charles, I'd like you to meet Hamish, my fiancé.
Excellent.
Pulp Fiction, directed by Quentin Tarantino.
3 or 4.
Best count our guy?
Not you.
So that means it could be up to 5 guys up there?
It's possible.
We share shotguns.
Quiz Show, directed by Robert Redford.
I'd like to take the full compliment.
His 4th wife was Anne of Cleves.
He divorced Catherine Farragut.
He divorced her.
He beheaded Anne Boleyn.
Well, they all died.
And The Shawshank Redemption, directed by Frank Darabont. Roger votes for Pulp Fiction.
Pulp Fiction was third on my list of the best 10 films last year, behind Hoop Dreams and Kieslowski's Red, White, and Blue trilogy, and just ahead of Forrest Gump. It's the best of the nominated films and a breath of fresh air for American movies. A crime film that is also a comedy and a social satire. It's written with a cleverness and wit that makes a lot of other recent movies sound sort of flat by comparison. Listen here to the two hitmen talk in this Academy Award-nominated dialogue by Quentin Tarantino and Roger Ebert.
You serious? You really thinking about quitting?
Life?
Yeah.
Most definitely.
What's you gonna do then?
Well, that's what I've been sitting here contemplating. First, I'm gonna deliver this case to Marcellus. Then, basically, I'm just gonna walk the earth.
What you mean, walk the earth?
You know, like Kane in Kung Fu. Walk from place to place, meet people, get in adventures.
They got a name for that, Jules. It's called a bump.
Pulp Fiction divided American audiences as few other films did last year. A lot of people loved this movie. Other people really despised it. I think the more movies you've seen, the more likely you were to like it because you could see what Tarantino was doing there, setting us up and then surprising us. There's a lot of killing in Pulp Fiction, for example, but never in quite the way the characters intend. And their weapons sometimes turn out to be more dangerous to themselves than to others. There's also a certain bewilderment that's funny, as if the characters learned how to be tough guys by watching the movies. And they're kind of at a loss sometimes when they get into really dangerous real-life situations. They say, hey, this wasn't covered in the stuff we checked out last night from the video store.
It's a great piece of work for all the reasons you just said. I'm still reeling that you think True Lies is better special effects than Forrest Gump, but take a look at my envelope. You're back on track, kid.
Pulp Fiction.
You bet.
Best picture of the year.
My selection is Pulp Fiction. It tells the story of a bunch of low-life characters, thieves and killers, broads and boxers, and spins them through interlocking stories that have been cut up and rearranged in a totally fresh way. The hitmen do more than just kill in this picture. In the case of Samuel L. Jackson, he even serves as a peacemaker with a gun, calming down a couple of wild thieves.
All right, now tell me your name.
Yolanda.
All right, now, Yolanda. We're not gonna do anything stupid, are we?
Don't you hurt him!
Nobody's gonna hurt anybody. We're all gonna be like three little Fonzies here. And what's Fonzie like? Come on, Yolanda, what's Fonzie like?
Cool.
What?
Cool.
Correctamundo. And that's what we're gonna be. We're gonna be cool.
Correctamundo.
That's a great word.
Anybody talking that way is going to look good on the screen. It's terrific. Pulp Fiction just might turn out to be a pivotal film in movie history. Here's a picture that's more than just a best picture. I think it should be regarded as a revolutionary film, as pointing the way away from today's tired, bloated, safe, big money movies like the Brady Bunch and the Flintstones, and toward more aggressive, renegade, smartly written pictures. Pulp Fiction has an energy in its dialogue and story construction that is revolutionary. Of the 5 nominated movies, it's clearly the best.
It is clearly the best. And you know, to watch this movie is a wake-up call.
Yes.
It forces you to confront the nature of narrative, and because it's so convoluted, what Tarantino is saying is, hey, all movies are really like this, only you just don't realize it. I make it up, I put it on the screen, and you sit there and watch it.
It's very fresh. You know, you said that some people hated this picture. I have talked to people, and what I hear more often of the people that don't really love it, and most people love it, is it was disturbing, but you know, I've been thinking about it. I've been thinking about it. I want to maybe see it again. And so I think that this picture...
I got a letter from a guy who said, this is the kind of movie that I would watch the entire movie, when it comes out on video, of course, with my finger on the off button, but I would never quite push it. And I think that's a test.
That's a good kind of reaction.
That's a test for a good movie. Okay, coming up next, a category you only see on this show, our picks for the year's worst nominations.
Welcome back to the Disney MGM Studios in Orlando. Here are Gene Siskel and Roger Ebert.
And now we come to a category the Academy Awards probably should include, but they never will, the year's worst single nomination.
This is an exclusive on our show.
You won't find this on other shows.
We looked through the whole list, and we found the worst.
Yes, that's right. And when you looked through the list, you said the worst nomination was costume design in Maverick.
Yeah, think about it. Just think about it. My choice is the costumes in Maverick because what's so special about them? Take a look.
What? Look, I don't see what's up there. Hey, whoa, son, there. Just slow down there. Where's the fire, son?
Hey, yeah, they're Western outfits. What else could they have been? I don't blame the costumer of Maverick for the nomination, just the people, the other costumers who nominated her. And I'm one of the few critics who gave a marginal thumbs up to the movie. But better choices of better costumes would have been, for example, the 50s retro outfits in Ed Wood or the rummage sale look of the menswear in Pulp Fiction. Anything but the Western clothes in Maverick.
I agree with you, Gene, although, of course, the worst nomination in this category in history was for The Swarm, that B movie.
The Beekeeper's
Yeah,
outfits?
everybody was dressed right out of the Sears catalog. That was a terrific nomination.
I think that the costumers need to be shaken up.
I looked a little higher on the list to find my worst nomination.
Okay. Oh, you know what? This is a very good pick, Roger. Susan Sarandon is Best Actress in The Client.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I really hope that my victim in this category does take it in the spirit in which it was intended, because I admire Susan Sarandon. She is a truly great actress. She's been nominated 3 times before for much more memorable performances, but I think that her work and her Best Actress nomination for The Client doesn't show the Academy voters at their most discerning. Although Sarandon does what she can with the role, she always does, she never gets a chance to really make the character pay off in human terms in this melodramatic potboiler. It's just not a good movie.
Now, Roger, one of the things that we always conclude our show with is who would get you excited if you're watching the Oscar show? Is there one word, one name, one movie name that you'd like to hear?
In other words, which winner would make me the happiest?
That you're watching the show backstage and you slam your fist and say, yes.
I'd say Morgan Freeman.
Okay.
That's what I'd say, because here's a guy who was never given a bad performance and who has such a wonderful voice and such a wonderful presence on the screen, and the Academy has nominated him before. I think it would just be wonderful if he won for Best Actor. And how about you?
The one that I'm hoping for, this would be a tremendous upset. They'll be screaming in the auditorium if it happens. I'd like to see Hoop Dreams, that fabulous documentary, win in Best Editing. It was nominated in Best Editing. It was the only category it's nominated in. To me, this 3-hour documentary was the best picture of the year of any kind.
It was, yes. I hope it isn't just given as a consolation prize. Hoop Dreams should be in the regular categories. That's it for our annual special, If We Pick the Winners. And until March the 27th at the Shrine Auditorium, the envelopes are sealed.
Accommodations provided by Disney's Polynesian Resort and the Grand Floridian Beach Resort, located next to the Magic Kingdom and connected by the monorail at Walt Disney World in Florida. Air transportation provided by Delta Airlines, the official airline of the Walt Disney World Resort in Florida. Delta Airlines, you'll love the way we fly. It's America's favorite jelly bean, Jelly Belly, now appearing at theaters and video stores with good taste. Jelly Belly beans, try them, you'll love them. Finally, a panty that won't go where it shouldn't. A panty that actually stays in place from Fruit of the Loom, clothes that make you feel good. New Vicks Chloraseptic Cough and Throat Drops for fast, effective relief from your cough or irritated throat. Vicks Chloraseptic, the sore throat experts. Can your child sound out words? Good phonics skills can make a difference in reading. Call Hooked on Phonics at 1-800-ABCDEFG to find out more.